Hare Krishna. So, welcome all to our Saturday late night Bhagavatam discussion, 10th Canto. So, due to the summer vacations, devotees are less, I think. Some have gone to India, some have come to India. And these vacations for the children, no? Summer vacation. Yeah, so then company also gives vacations. So yeah, 11 we have almost. Yeah, but right. So now we are discussing on 68th chapter. Let me share the screen. The marriage of Samba. And he is not there. Amal Arjun.
Amal Arjun Prabhu. You're asking for
Huh?
Amal Arjun Prabhu?
Huh?
Yeah. He's having some other some company meeting, so he told he will not be able to.
Okay. Fine. Yeah. Okay. So who would like to read?
I can read Prabhu if it's okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Hare Krishna. Chapter 68, the marriage of Samba. This chapter describes how the Kauravas captured Samba and how Lord Baladev dragged the city of Hastinapur to secure his release. Samba, the darling son of Jambavati, kidnapped Duryodhana's daughter, Lakshmana, from her Swayamvara assembly. In response, the Kauravas joined forces to arrest him. After Samba held them off single-handedly for some time, 6 warriors of the Kaurava party deprived him of his chariot, broke his bow to pieces, seized him, tied him up, and brought both him and Lakshmana back to Hastinapur. When King Ugrasena heard of Samba's capture, he called upon the Yadavas to retaliate. Angered, they prepared to fight, but Lord Balaram pacified them, hoping to avoid a quarrel between the Kuru and Yadu dynasties. The Lord set off for Hastinapur together with several Brahmanas and Yadava elders. The party of the Yadavas set up camp in garden outside the city, and Lord Balaram sent Uddhava to ascertain King Dhritarashtra's frame of mind. When Uddhava appeared in the Kauravas' court and announced Lord Balaram's arrival, the Kauravas worshipped Uddhava and went to see the Lord, taking auspicious items to offer him. The Kauravas honored Balaram with rituals and items of respect. But when he conveyed Ugrasena's demand that they release Samba, they became angry. It is very amazing, they said, that Yadavas are trying to give orders to the Kauravas. This is like a shoe trying to climb atop on one's head. It is from us alone that the Yadavas have obtained their royal thrones. And yet now they are presuming themselves our equals. No longer will we extend to them royal privileges. Having said this, the Kaurava nobles went inside their city, and Lord Baladev decided that the only way to deal with those who are maddened by false prestige is through rude punishment. Thus he took his plow weapon, and intending to rid the earth of all the crews, began dragging Hastinapur toward the Ganges. Seeing that their city was in imminent danger of falling into the river, the terrified Kauravas quickly brought Samba and Lakshmana before Lord Balaram and began to glorify him. Then they prayed, "O Lord, please forgive us, who were so ignorant of your true identity." Baladev assured the Kauravas he would not harm them, and Duryodhana presented various wedding gifts to his daughter and new son-in-law. Then Duryodhana, extending his greetings to the Yadavas, requested Lord Baladev to return to Dwaraka with Samba and Lakshmana. Hare Krishna. Thank
you. Hare Krishna. Let's see. PPT you are able to see?
Yes, bro.
Yeah. Marriage of Samba. The Samba, we saw marriage of actually before. Who's all married we saw?
Aniruddha, we have seen.
Aniruddha, then Pradyumna also. Yeah. So that the sons.
Krishna's marriage.
Krishna's marriages, of course. So now this is another son of Krishna. Is from Krishna and Jambavati. How Krishna got Jambavati?
While searching Samantaka.
Yeah, Samantakamani. Yeah, there. Jamwan gave his daughter, Jambavati. So she is the first one is Rukmini, and then second, and third one was
Satyabhama.
Satyabhama. Yeah. So the son of Jambavati, Samba. Where else his reference comes? Samba later.
Just before the destruction, when the
Hmm.
Rishi arrived, he disguised as a woman and
Yeah, Samba. Samba was the cause. Means he was the immediate cause. The ultimate cause was Lord Krishna's desire. But Samba was the immediate cause of the destruction of Yadus. When he disguised as a woman and like that. So Samba kidnaps Lakshmana. Lord Balaram goes to Hastinapur to make peace with Kuru. Kuru insult the other one. But Balaram angrily drives him to the cage. Kuru pacifies Lord Balaram, marriage of Samba. 54 verses are there. Jambudi's son Samba kidnapped Duryodhana's daughter Lakshmana from Swayamvar. So there was Swayamvar of sorry, my health is little bit. Yeah. So now what happened was, because there was Swayamvar of Lakshmana, so Duryodhana had arranged Swayamvar, and this Lakshmana Swayamvar means she will choose. But the Prabhupada there in Krishna Murti that this was how the Kshatriyas would marry. In somebody's Swayamvar, they will kidnap also. Unless there is fight, then this doesn't suit the marriage of Kshatriyani. So although Swayamvar was there, she herself supposed to choose, but then Samba went and kidnapped. So like that, in Kshatriya marriage, unless there is some fight, some blood, the marriage was not considered actually marriage. So like that, Samba in that spirit he went and he kidnapped Lakshmana. But because they were more warriors were there, almost like 6 warriors, they together attack Samba. And Samba, of course, very fiercely and very ferociously, he fights back with them. But there are also Bhishma and others. They 6 of the warriors, as he said, Karna is also there, and they together attack Samba, and they actually kidnap him. Where else you find 6 warriors attacking one person?
Abhimanyu.
Abhimanyu. There are also 6. Bhishma was there. Bhishma and Karna. Actually, it is not right. 1-to-1 fight should be there. That's how in Mahabharata when they did this thing. So then from that time, actually all the laws were flouted in the Mahabharata. So first rule was broken by the Kauravas. In the beginning, there was a what do you say deal that will follow all the codes of conduct, and then Kauravas also signed, Pandavas also signed that we will not break. But there was one clause which Pandavas said. What was that?
If Kaurava breaks, then they also do.
They said we will not break first the rules, but if you break, then we will also break. And Pandavas said like that. So that's why first they were who broke, because 6 Maharathas. Of course, Bhishma was not in that. Bhishma was not that. So when they actually attacked Abhimanyu alone and then they killed him, then Pandava said, then now we'll also do it. That's how it started. But here, Bhishma was there and he also attacked, and then all of them together captured Samba. So Samba was very powerful. And with great difficulty, they captured. And then he was captured both Samba and Lakshmana. And then Bhishma said, actually, because Samba has touched Lakshmana, so now he will only be the husband. So that's why we should capture him and we cannot kill him. But we should teach him a lesson that what he has done. But finally, he will only get married to her because he has touched her. That was the pratha like that. Once the man touches woman, then that they have to be get married. Then that. So Samba actually gets caught after the fight. And then when this news reaches Ugrasen, then Ugrasen becomes angry and says that we will attack back. Then Balram says, Arey, don't attack. First, thoda, we'll do some bath. Is it na? पहले मुलाकात बात और फिर लात like that. First there should be मुलाकात and bath, and then we'll do lat. Then we will see. Like that Balram says, and then they agree also. So actually the first lesson we learn is here that Samba, from Samba's life basically is that we should know the situation and then enter that situation. So this is, that lesson is for a sadhaka. Because it is said that when you enter a situation, we should know that whether that situation is powerful or we are powerful. If the situation is more powerful than us, then we should not enter. That is actually according to Chanakya Niti. So we can have a fight only in two situations, it is said. One is if you see the enemy is less powerful, then actually you can fight. But if enemy is more powerful, you should not fight. You should avoid fight. And second situation is, can you guess? In two situation only one should fight.
Do or die situation where there is no other option left with.
Prabhuji, for against aggressors,
Yeah, but see, aggressors also, but we'll have to see that if they are more powerful, then you alone is not sufficient. You may have to punish them, but then you need support. So we have to judge. So this is according to Chanakya Niti, that when you can fight against somebody, when you see that that enemy is not powerful enough, you are powerful. But if enemy is powerful, you fight, it's like suicide. And then if you have to punish that person where they are aggressive, then we have to gather more support and become more powerful. Then we can punish. We have to see if he is not less powerful, then we can fight. And second thing is, if he is very powerful, okay, but then we have no other situation. You are like check and mate. In that time we can fight. So like that is Chanakya. But here, Samba, what he did was he entered in a situation in which the situation was more powerful, and he anyways entered and he got caught ultimately. So Prabhupada also writes in that Gajendra section that we should not put ourselves in a situation where our senses are not healthy enough or your mind is not healthy enough to properly perform Krishna consciousness. So mind and senses should be peaceful. We should create such situation. Then only we can perform. If our mind is always agitated, senses are always agitated, and there's so much anxiety, chaos, stress, in that, where is the question of performing devotional service? So Gajendra section, because Gajendra was in a situation, he was in an alien situation. He was in water. And on himself, he has brought a situation where his mind and senses were not stable. They were highly disturbed. So because of that, he had to face trouble. So Prabhupada right there. And Prabhupada also gives that time actually Madhudvisa Maharaj. So Maharaj that time, Prabhupada disciple, he actually left sannyas. Actually, he left sannyas and he went away only for some time. He left ISKCON only. So Prabhupada's, that was in his mind. He's just such a powerful preacher, such a powerful sannyasi. He actually left. So Prabhupada that time he says in that purport of Gajendra Lila that one should actually create a situation where one is peaceful. And if whether it is sannyasa or grahastha ashram, that doesn't matter. But one should be peacefully situated in his life so that he can perform bhakti nicely. So Gajendra, he created a situation where he was highly disturbed. So like that, one should not create situations. So when you when you enter a situation, you should know the situation whether I am sufficient, I am strong enough to face the situation. When some of the disciples they told Srila Prabhupada they are going somewhere at night 10 o'clock. And Prabhupada asked, where you are going at night 10 o'clock? So they said, Prabhupada, we are going to the this bar, beer bar, and there. For what? To do Harinam Sankirtan. Well, that is good. You are going for Harinam Sankirtan, but you have to return safely also, and you have to do your morning sadhana and other things. So don't go in a situation where you will be tempted and the situation will overpower you. So we should not be too much overconfident. Don't underestimate Maya. So we had seen one should be conscious of Krishna and
Cautious of Maya.
cautious of Maya. One should not underestimate Maya. Chalo kya hota hai? I am Krishna Das Bindas. And you go in and say, like, Samba entered just like that. But Kurus are so powerful people, all of them. And he, of course, kidnapped and he was about to run, but he was caught. He was caught. So we should not bring upon us such situation. So because Prabhupada says self-preservation is the what? Self-preservation is the
First thing that we do when there is crisis.
first law. First law, Prabhupada said. Self-preservation first law means actually in any situation we have to protect us and our Krishna consciousness actually. To protect our Krishna consciousness is the first law. First thing we should see is whether I and my Krishna consciousness is protected or not. Then other things later, preaching. No, we'll go to the beer bar and brothels and we'll preach the holy names. But whether you will remain there or not, to preach. First, preservation, self-preservation is the first law. First, preserve your Krishna consciousness and then go and preach. So, Prabhupada was very powerful, of course. He went and brought, just like in Kabaddi you play, na? Kabaddi. In what situation you get out? Two situations. You have played Kabaddi in childhood?
If you are
One
not
is
able to return to our own courts,
Not able to remember?
not able to return to our own courts, we are held by opponents.
That is one situation.
That's
Second?
it.
second, when you stop telling kabaddi kabaddi.
Then you stop, you lose breath. That is also out. So like that, we have to see how much is our strength. Kabaddi. That much only we should enter Maya's den for preaching. So we should see the situation. It's very important. So Prabhupada would say, sincerity is important in bhakti, but more important is sincerity with intelligence. The sincerity with intelligence is very important in bhakti. Not just I am sincere, Krishna will protect God. And like that, you cannot jump in the water. I am sincere, Krishna will save me. I have jumped in the water, I don't know swimming. Sincerity with intelligence is required. So uh, that's why many times we sometimes may do mistake. We should not challenge Maya. Sometimes the neophyte devotee challenges Maya. I am so powerful and they go home. I have seen some new boys sometimes they go home. And what they do in home? Knew somebody has come new in Krishna consciousness. They were bubbling with enthusiasm. And when they go home, what they do? Students.
We try to preach to their family members.
Preach to the parents and family members and friends. Say, "Arey, God, you are in Maya, you are eating honey, dali, and you are not offering food to Krishna, you are eating only sin. You are not chanting the names of God. You know, chant Hare Krishna. This life is meant for self-realization. Huh? Eating, waiting, sleeping, depending, you are doing that, you are equivalent to animal." So they preach so heavily, and later what happens? The parents they do they they make him in such situation they put him that he forgets. Actually, he himself actually loses his own Krishna consciousness. So he went to preach. The parent gets alarmed, and then what will happen? His Krishna consciousness also will get washed away, whatever is remaining. So we should not challenge Maya. Once some parents, one boy went to preach and he preached, and then parents got so angry that they took him to the what do you say? They gave shock treatment, shock treatment. So they gave him shock. So he forgot only everything. But fortunately, he actually remembered the one devotee to whom he was attached. And then of course he went back, and then parents also later they were pacified. And but what has happened now also that devotee is there in Belgaum. So now also that devotee is little bit eccentric. He cannot function properly due to what, why? That shock treatment over there. Shock. Parents gave shock to him. So he's Brahmachari of course now, but still not normal. So we should not challenge Maya. It is said that Maya is as powerful as Dash. Oh, is Maya powerful as?
Krishna only.
Yeah, Maya is as powerful as Krishna by mercy of Krishna. Can you imagine fighting with Krishna? Where is the chance? Maya is very powerful. So don't challenge Maya and don't enter a situation in which actually we will be overpowered by the situation. And the solid example is of Sugriv. Sugriv. Can somebody tell how Sugriv is example of sadhaka?
Prabhuji, sorry, Prabhuji, what did you ask? I did not understand.
Sugriv is an example of a sadhaka who got overpowered by the situation.
When Ram killed Bali and so Sugriv, that Chaturmasya was there. So he was only in the enjoying propensity. He forgot his vow that he will help Lord Ram after the rainy season is over. So then Lord Ram has to send Lakshmana to remind him. And then so that was the time he got carried away by his.
Yeah. So Sugriva is considered a great devotee of Lord Ram. But then what happened? He got overpowered by the situation. And then he forgot he had given promise to Lord Ram, and he went in an enjoying mood. And then he was enjoying with his wife and then wife of his brother also, Tara and Ruma. So like that, then Lakshman had to come and he had to wake him up. That time he got. So like that, sometimes the situation can be too powerful. So we should be very careful before entering any situation and see that what is my strength and what is the enemy's strength, and then only enter. You you might have heard SWOT. What is SWOT analysis? SWOT.
Strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat.
So we should have that with us, the chart. How much is my strength? Where is my weakness? Yeah. So because one little inattention and there can be blood, Prabhupada used to say. In spiritual life, little inattention and there is blood. Surasya Dhara, I said that walking in spiritual life is like Surasya Dhara, walking on an edge of blood, very sharp. So when somebody may say, just like Krishna Prabhupada comes here telling, somebody may say, Arey, I'm in bhakti since last 40 years. What can happen to me? For 40 years, I'm in bhakti, I'm chanting, I'm serving Krishna, I'm in Asuyam devotees, I have given so many classes, how to be careful from Maya, how to be saved from Maya, and I have given so many classes. How can I fall into Maya? How can I fall into Maya? So even if I'm inattentive, a little bit here and there, doesn't matter. So can somebody who is 40 years in bhakti fall down because some inattention? Possible or
Yes, sir. Yes, Prabhuji.
Possible,
Anytime.
Prabhu.
possible?
Padam yat padam vipatam. I wait every second. Yes, for 40 years or 400 years doesn't matter.
So Krishna was an example of, suppose you are driving, you are driving from suppose Kuwait to nearby country, wherever, Muscat or somewhere. You're driving for last 6 hours, you're driving on the highway, going right, and you are perfectly driving. But for just 2 seconds, you fall asleep in the car. What will happen?
Accident.
Accident. For last 6 hours, you drove perfectly. But for 2 seconds, you slept during driving. Gone. There's a big accident. Somebody's life is gone also. So like that, one should not underestimate Maya. One should not underestimate the situation. One should have sincerity along with
Intelligence.
Intelligence.
intelligence. Yeah. One should not just enter any situation and jump into it. And then we'll say, oh, Krishna will save us. Sometimes new devotees sometimes they do mistake. So there should be risk, but it should be calculated risk, not andhadhunda blind risk. So of course this is I'm just drawing lesson, but here Samba is like he just went and kidnapped Lakshmana. And then what happened is he fought very valiantly, but the situation overpowered him. Of course, now he has backing of the Lord, so it doesn't matter. Lord is his father. Lord will come. Balram came, but not necessarily that for us Lord will come personally. So we should not unnecessarily challenge Maya and enter a situation which would be difficult, which can overpower us. So we should, Prabhupada writes, we should be in such a state in life where our senses and mind is healthy to perform bhakti. We should not be in such a state that our mind and senses are agitated and then for bhakti where the question. Like that. Okay, then what happened is Ugrasen, and then he says we'll attack. And then Balram pacifies. He says, I try to pacify, and if they listen, then why should we fight? Because they are also relatives only. And and then I will see, I will go. So he goes along with Uddhava, and Uddhava, he sends message with Uddhava that you please go and tell them that I have come. And then he waits outside Hastinapura. And outside Hastinapur he waits, and then he sends Uddhava. And then Uddhava goes and says that Balram has come. And then they actually come out and they worship Balram. Just a minute. Gurus to Balram. Yeah. So then Uddhav goes and tells that Balaram has come. So all of them come. Duryodhan. What is the relationship of Duryodhan with Balaram? Duryodhan and Balaram.
Sorry, Proji. Sorry,
Guru
again.
What relationship of Duryodhan and Balaram?
is a guru.
Guru of Duryodhan.
Is his guru for teaching Gada, club fighting. So Duryodhan also comes, Bhishma comes, and all the Kurus come outside Hastinapur to respect Balram. And they bow down to him and they respect and they worship him. And then Balram says, thank you, thank you. And then Balram gives the message of Ugrasen that give our son back, Samba. You have captured and it is not good. So give back. That time, these Kurus, they become very angry. And they say, you people, Yadus, you are like the foot. And we Kurus are like the head. And the foot is trying to sit on the head. So they insult Balram, they insult Ugrasen, they insult Krishna also, and they minimize Krishna's position also. And they speak such insulting words and then they leave from there. And Balram becomes very angry. And actually, Balram, then there he speaks of the glories of Krishna's lotus feet. Okay, who will find the verse? The famous verse. This chapter, Krishna and Balaram speaking about the glories of Krishna's lotus feet. Nobody is able to say which verse in the chapter. Very famous verse is there. Who is doing some sort? Yasya padayugam sakshat. Yasyangri, 37th verse. यस्यांग्रि पंकजरजो किल लोकपाले मौल्ये उत्तमैर्धृतम् उपासित तीर्थतीर्थम् ब्रह्मा भवोऽहमपि यस्य कलाः कलाय स्त्रीश्चोदवहेम चिरम् अस्य नृपासनं त्व. Can somebody read the translation?
The screen is not visible.
You're not reading?
Shall I read, Prabhu?
Yeah.
The dust of Krishna's lotus feet, which is the source of holiness for all places of pilgrimage, is worshipped by all the great demigods. The principal deities of all planets are engaged in his service, and they consider themselves most fortunate to take the dust of the lotus feet of Krishna on their crowns. Great demigods like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, and even the goddess of fortune and eye, are simply parts of his spiritual identity, and we also carefully carry that dust on our heads. And still, Krishna is not fit to use the royal insignia or even sit on the royal throne.
Yeah. Here, Balram is glorifying the dust of the lotus feet of Krishna, where all the demigods and all the principal deities, they consider fortune when they take the dust of Krishna's lotus feet on their head. So you are minimizing the position of Krishna, that Krishna who is so great, and everybody wants to take the dust of lotus feet of Krishna. So he goes on to, in few more verses, describe the dust. So Krishna's dust is so auspicious. Krishna's lotus feet dust. So if one takes the dust on his head, his life is perfected. And that Krishna you are offending, Lord Balram becomes so angry. So this second point I was thinking that The second lesson is Lord's the lotus feet of the Lord, the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord is all auspicious. So because we got connected to Krishna consciousness, we are serving Krishna. So taking the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord is actually, the Acharya says, means what it means. Actually, if you want to take taking the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord means,
It's all auspicious and we are very fortunate.
yeah, but taking the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord means literally means what?
To surrender and
Following
to
his
Surrender,
instructions.
surrender.
And mainly service to the Lord. You know? The service to the Lord is service to the lotus feet is taking actually the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord. So when we are connected in service to the Lord, then all auspiciousness comes in our life. You know? So we see how when we are not connected to the service of the Lord, and we were like that. So how inauspicious our life was. But by becoming connected to Lord's service, some service we render to Lord or His devotees, then that makes life so joyful, so auspicious, so holy. Is it not? So otherwise, what our life was previous. So just by the dust means actually the service of the Lord, just by taking some service. So service is very important in spiritual life. We should render some kind of service to the Lord. If we are connected through some service, then what is the advantage of being connected to Lord through some service? What is the advantage?
Bhagwan will not forget our service. Swalpam apyasya
Yeah,
dharmasya.
yeah, yes, that is there. And of course, as I said, our life become auspicious. And what Mother said is, so Lord doesn't forget. And what happens if we are connected in service to the Lord, then even if there are some mistakes in our devotional service and there are some fallacies and there are some discrepancies, then Lord thinks that but He is doing some service for me. Hmm? He is doing some service for me, doesn't matter. Hmm? Just like some master is their boss and the servant is serving and he is doing some service, there's maybe some mistakes. So the master feels compassion. "Arey, kuch to kar raha hai na at least, mere liye." You know, there will be some discrepancies. He may correct, but he will not discard him. No. So that is the advantage of always doing some service to Krishna, because Krishna will see, oh, this person is rendering some service, even though he is not up to the standard, he is not able to rise to the standard, and but because he is rendering service, Krishna remembers that. Hmm. So that is very important that we render some service to Lord, connected to Lord through service. So that is actually meaning of taking the dust of lotus feet of Krishna. That is the meaning of actually that dust brings auspicious in our life. How that auspiciousness is brought in our life? Because of through the service. So wherever there is description of taking the dust of the lotus feet, taking the dust of the lotus feet, actually it means that rendering service. That is what Acharya says, that actually it means. Otherwise, just you go to the spiritual master and you take the dust from his lotus feet and keep on your head. That of course auspicious and that has some importance. But actually what it means is you render service, some service. So that's why we see in Indra also when he becomes proud in the 10th canto. And so Krishna kills all the demons. But why Krishna doesn't kill Indra? Indra
He's in service.
uh, in service. He did some fault, but Lord forgives. Okay, but you are in service. That's why I didn't kill. Otherwise, I killed all demons. Utna Kumar Dala, Agasur Kumar Dala. They were so demonic. You are also like that demonic. So he could have killed, but he's in service. Brahma also. So service is our hope. So because there are so many fault deficiencies, who can say that I don't have any deficiency? I am fully perfect. Then for him not required. But we have so many faults, deficiencies. so many in the consciousness, so many anarthas. And so how Lord will recognize us? Service. कुछ तो सेवा कर रहा है वही है. No problem. Come on. Lord is happy. So our hope is service. Just like that squirrel, Hanuman. So sadhana is nice. We should do sadhana. But along with that, service should be there. Only sadhana will not attract Lord's mercy. Service is very important. That's how we should take the dust of lotus feet of Krishna. It means taking some service for Krishna. Service is a privilege. Once His Sadhana Swami Maharaj was telling that when you are cutting the potato or making the sabji for the Lord, what we should be thinking? Ideally,
Should be very delicious for Lord.
yeah. And one should think that this service of cutting the potato of the Lord I have got after millions and millions of births. So many millions and millions of births I was roaming here and there, and now I have got the service of cutting the potato for the Lord. This is the privilege. Then we will do that service with such nice consciousness. अरे ये पोटैटो है कट, कोई दूसरा मिला नहीं क्या, किसी और को पकड़ा, मुझे ही पकड़ा देगा, कट हिस्सा डाल दो. Because you feel like a service is a burden. Service is a privilege actually. We have got it after millions and millions and millions of births. We have got the opportunity to serve Krishna. The service should be in that mode. Service attitude should be there. So basically, the Krishna's lotus feet, the dust of Krishna's lotus feet is actually service. So taking the dust of Krishna's lotus feet on our head, which brings auspiciousness, is actually taking some service for Krishna. That makes one's life auspicious. Actually, my health is little bit not good today. So again, third point we will take. And then yeah, third point is pride makes one blind. Pride makes one blind. Who became proud here?
The Kauravas, the Duryodhana.
Yeah. Krishna. So Duryodhana became proud. Duryodhana and Kauravas became proud. And what they said, what statement they said by which Balaram was so angry?
The
They are
Yadavas
living
not
at the
equal
mercy
to-
of.
And they are like the shoes. They are like the shoes, and they are trying to sit on the head. We are like head guru, and Yadus are like chappals. Like that, when they say Balram became so angry, it's like, yeah. So then what? पहले मुलाकात, फिर बात एंड लात. बलराम said, ये मानने वाले ऐसे. Balram took that blow and ripped Hastinapur only. And Ganga must be huge, na? The whole Hastinapur has to be drowned in Ganga. The Ganga has to be huge. And then everybody came and beg forgiveness. And then it is said that still it is somewhat tilted. Hastinapur is not perfectly in the place. Why? Because Balram did a mistake. A mistake, he put it like that, or he couldn't put it back perfectly. What can be the reason?
Maybe a first a reminder for them, Kauravas.
Yeah, थोड़ा tilted रखा ही बलराम ने थोड़ा सा. Reminder, pride. This is the result of their pride. And even Balaram, what he did to Yamuna? Yamuna also was not ready. So he made so many branches. That is still there, Ram Ghat. You can see Yamuna in so many hundreds of tributaries there. So Balaram is like that. He will punish you and he will make some mark also so that he will remember. So like that, pride makes one blind. Any example from scriptures? Bhagavatam where pride makes one blind.
Prabhuji,
Just 1 minute, 1 minute. Fast minute. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yes. Mata, you're telling something?
yes, Prabhuji. I was reminded of Durvasa Muni was proud of his position and he cursed Ambarish.
Avanish. See, but when one becomes proud, then actually then he has to face such insulting situation later. With all these gurus also, they spoke such boasting words, and then later they have to cling to the lotus feet of Balaram. So pride makes everyone blind. The higher you go, what is the saying?
The harder we fall.
Fall.
Higher we go, the harder we fall. So not to climb too high. Yeah. Any other example?
Banasura.
Banasur and who?
Prabhuji, even Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, all these people.
Yeah. Banasur actually was proud of his arms that he challenged Lord Shiva. He
Yes.
said, "Arey, I don't have somebody to fight. My hands are itching." Lord Shiva said, "You rascal, you got benediction from me only. And to fight, soon you will get a match." Like that. Yeah, and Hiranyakashipu, of course, he became so proud. He became so. Can you imagine the Hiranyakashipu was so powerful, so powerful. Everybody was under his control. But ultimately, he got killed like whom? Like a, what is given the example?
Okay. Beetle.
Wasp.
Wasp.
ऐसे मसल देते हैं ना wasp means trap. He got killed like a wasp. Such a insulting, humiliating death. Lord told him. And so it's considered most ghastly, kills like this and taking the intestine, and it is the most ghastly murder. Even I think the human beings will not do anybody like that, but Lord did. Because he became so proud. He climbed too high. So he fell also very hard. Any other example?
Kamsa.
Kamsa also. Kamsa, of course, he was afraid of his death. In that way, he was sending the demons. But somebody became
Hiranyaksha.
proud. Huh?
Hiranyaksha was searching a suitable opponent.
Yes.
Indra also.
Indra. Indra also became too proud. And that's why Lord also humiliated him so much. How Lord humiliated him? By lifting the Govardhan on left hand's most weakest finger. Yeah, you are not equivalent to my finger also. So Indra was so powerful, but he got humiliated. So higher you go, harder you fall.
Lord Brahma himself, he thought when he said
Brahma.
400, which Brahma? Yes.
Brahma. Yeah, Brahma became proud. There is a Brahma Vimon Lila, and also he sees so many Brahmas. Yeah, only 4 heads. Others have so many heads. So he got thoroughly humiliated. So pride is like that. So, but nowadays they say pride. They consider the pride word as very great. Now you cannot say pride as anartha, nowadays. Why? You have to use different word. Which word do you use now instead of pride as anartha?
Mother.
English.
Illusion, right?
No.
Intoxication, you said. We get intoxicated by the pride.
Yeah, but pride, this word pride, if you use, they don't accept pride as anartha. No. So they accept pride, or we should have pride. Pride of my being born in this family, pride of my having so much wealth, So pride is not considered no more an anartha. If you go and give lecture outside and say that pride is anartha, they will say what? Pride is ornament. So now I have seen the preachers, what they use, like Chaitanya and others. Instead of pride, they use arrogance. Arrogance. They use the word arrogance. So we should not be arrogant. That's the accept. The pride is there. There are so many hotels in Pune whose name is Pride. That is like 5-star hotel in Pune. The name is Pride. And if you say this is Anartha, you say what? Your hotel is Anartha. So they don't accept no pride. So they consider pride as a self-esteem. So anyway, here the pride we know. So here the Kauravas' pride actually would have led them for their annihilation itself. So remain humble. They said that Radhe Radhe Bolo and Chota Banke Raho. Remain humble, remain small, and that way you can easily go back to God. Jesus Christ, what he said in the Bible? Only who can
Meek and
Meek
humble.
and the humble.
meek and humble can go back to Godhead. So if we don't become meek, then we cannot go. So remain humble. And if you remain humble, the things become very easy. So Tukaram Maharaj also says, "Lahanpana dega deva, mungi sakare charava." Tukaram Maharaj says, "Please give me lahanpan, means smallness. Let me remain small. Because if you are small, the difficulties in life also are small. You become big, and there are big problems. Like that he says. So pride makes one blind. Okay, we'll end. Actually, my health today got cold and other things. So I'm not feeling well. We'll end here only. So, who can repeat the lesson?
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna
Prabhu.
Prabhu.
Yeah, one by one each. One can take one month. Yes. First one was.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Lesson 1, we should know the situation, then enter the situation. So
Okay.
self-preservation is the first job.
Yeah, self-preservation first. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Second one, somebody else.
The dust of the lotus feet of the Lord is all auspicious. Literally means one should serve the Lord.
The service of the Lord is very auspicious. It brings auspiciousness in our life. Yeah. Thank you. Third one.
We should not only be sincere but also use our intelligence.
Sincerity with intelligence is important. And that came in the first point. Now we should not just jump into any situation. Bhagwan bacha lenge. Not like that. Yeah. And third lesson. Third one.
Pride will make us fall.
Pride makes one blind.
Blind.
And yeah, so pride, higher we go, harder we fall. The more higher we go, harder we fall. Not to climb too high. But to climb high to Goloka. Not here in this world. We should not become proud. Remain humble, and humble and meek can go back to God. That is the formula. Okay, thank you so much. I will leave now. My head is reeling. So we'll end here. We'll meet again next time. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Jai Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you very much, Prabhu. In spite of your health conditions, you are giving us consideration and taking this class. So our prayers for you to get well soon, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you for your association week after week. On behalf of all assembled Vaishnavas, we would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to Prabhu and also for his quick recovery. Let us all chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। बड़े वैष्णव की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, चैतन्य चंद्र प्रभु की जय। हरे कृष्ण। Hare Krishna devotees. So I'd like to thank you all for participating. So with your permission, we'd like to end up the session. If there are no any other announcements, we'll end this session now. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.